we are going to conduct teleconference on course 3, that is Content and Services in Telecentre. Today we have our expert program officer Mr. Vignesh Shanmugan. He will discuss on the topic. Welcome to Mr. Vignesh Shanmugan.
Thank you. A very hot welcome to all of our learners who are present at their home as well as at various regional centers. And I would request all our regional directors to switch on and help our learners to view this channel. Before let us move on to the course, I will take just a quick 1 minute to explain what are we going to do today. First, we have a very important course for this certificate in Telecentre / Village Knowledge Center Management program, which is the Telecentre services, right? Content and services in telecentres. And why is it important? It's because all of your telecentres are running because of the telecentres, right? It's the basic route for successfully running your telecentre. And now let us go on to module 7, which is introduction to computer and the internet. And in this module we will be seeing 3 units, right? One is fundamentals of computer, and the second one is introduction to the internet, and the third one is computer maintenance and troubleshooting. Now move on to unit 1. What are we going to achieve from this unit? The learner should be able to define a computer, and they should know how a computer works. And then the third one is they should be able to identify what is a computer hardware and what is a computer software. Before we get into what is a computer and all, let's see why a computer is critical. See, in our telecentre, as we have seen in the earlier modules, a computer is a critical ICT tool, and the telecentre is mainly because important for providing various telecentre services. Name it, like whether it's providing a birth certificate or a driving license or a passport, or name whatever service you want. You need a computer or at least an ICT tool to provide these services. And in that ICT tool, telecentres should have a computer, at least one, with some other accessories like printer, scanner and all. So what is a computer exactly? A computer is an electronic device that operates under the control of a set of instructions. A computer accepts data from an input device and processes it into useful information which is displayed on its output device. So what does it mean? Basically, like a computer, it works based on our commands, right? So for example, a computer hardware, just a CPU and a monitor, it's not going to help a computer run, right? We need an input device which can give the information, and then we need a mechanism to process that information, and then we need a device which could actually give the results of that information. Now let's go to a classification of computers. There are 5 different classification of types of computers. On this you can see, like there are classification of computers. The supercomputers. The supercomputers are like very bigger in size, and these are used in, for example, railway systems, national defense and weather services. It's very big, and it needs a lot of investment. You can imagine, like it can run up to 100 crore rupees of Indian rupees, and it processes large amount of data, and the processing time is like really bigger. You can imagine, like with the Indian Railways, people are booking thousands and thousands of tickets everywhere. So you need a higher power system. So supercomputer is necessarily providing that kind of high volume of processing and providing inputs. Okay? And then the second type of computers are the mainframe computers. So the mainframe computers are also similar to supercomputers, but they are comparatively smaller in size, and the investment also it's slightly lesser than the supercomputers. But these mainframe computers are basically used in banks and bank insurance companies, manufacturers, mail order companies. So they are basically a service which can control a number of client computers. and then the microcomputers, which otherwise called as personal computers. So you might have seen a computer in a Telecentre or any other place. So a microcomputer is typically a personal computer. And then a notebook, and laptop computers. So all of you might have seen a laptop, and this is very compact, and you can take it wherever you wanted to go, and you can use this information, and this can run up to like 2-3 hours without a power supply. So in most of the telecentres, these laptops are used often. And then last type of computers are the personal digital assistants. You might have seen a mobile handheld device which could act as a telecentre services, right? So now let us move on to our next topic, the computer hardware. What is a computer hardware? A computer hardware is a physical device which are interconnected to process the information, right? So basically a computer hardware is divided into 3 parts. One is the input devices, right? For example, a mouse and a keyboard and a scanner. These are all input devices, right? We are giving instructions to the computers. So these are called as input devices. And the second set of devices are called as processing devices. For example, what happens if you type control enter? It takes us to a next page, right? So similarly, something has to happen, and that needs to be processed. Whatever input we have given, it needs to be processed. So there are like different processing devices available within a computer. Basically they are called as motherboards, processors, random access memories, hard disk, and a power supply unit. So all these form the part of processing devices. And then output devices. So what are these output devices? They are first a monitor, and so whatever output we see, it's through a monitor, right? And if you need that same information to be printed, you can use a printer to print that same information. And suppose if it's a volume based information, you can get the output through a speaker. And then another set of devices are called storage devices. These are CD or DVD ROMs, external hard disk drives, pen drives. So I think most of you might have heard about these. And then so far what we have seen was what is a computer and what are different types of hardware. Now we will see what is a software. See, suppose if all these hardwares are available, what is the use if there is nobody knows how to run a computer, right? So in order to integrate all these hardware parts, we needed an operating system, which is called a system software. And an operating system could be anything. For example, Microsoft's Windows 7, Windows 95, Windows 97, Windows 2000, Windows XP. So all these are operating systems. And then there are open source available like Linux, Unix, and there are plenty of other operating systems like Mac, Apple's Mac. So it's basically what it does is integrates different hardware parts and provides a holistic system so that the user can use it easily, right? And then the second set of softwares are called as programming softwares. So many of you might have heard about what you call the C programming softwares, C++, Java. So what does it do? So basically these application softwares, these programming softwares are used to develop application softwares. An application software, for example, Microsoft Office is basically used to type words, do calculations, make a presentation. So, and also like a video player. So all these are application software. What does it do? An application software simply processes the information and gives you the required results. The programming softwares are used to develop application softwares. So I think you are clear about these 3 types of softwares, right? So what we have seen so far in this unit 1 is what is a computer first, and then we have seen what is a hardware, and now we have seen what is a software. And now with this let us move on to unit 2, which is very crucial for all of your all the telecenter operators, right? And unit 2 talks about introduction to the internet. In this unit we are going to see three major stuff. One is you should be able to understand what is internet and what are the internet resources available, and the third one is what is the search engine and an email. So these are the basic things that a telecenter operator should have known. Why is internet important for a telecenter operator or a manager? See, basically, like imagine like 10-15 years back when there was no internet. If you need an information about an agricultural disease, what you will do? You have to basically go to take a bus which normally doesn't available in the rural areas, and you have to walk through all the way to the block office, and then you have to find out where this agriculture related information could be available, and then you have to go to a different office, and then they may refer you to a third office in some other university, agricultural university in some other place. So you might spend plenty of time in just going around all these officials offices, and then at last I'm not sure whether you would end up in getting the right information or not. And given this situation, imagine a device which connects the computer to the entire world network and provides you with whatever information you want. Name it, like whatever, if it's an agriculture related information, it's a weather information or a market information, all these information are available on our computer screen. It's because of a simple technology called internet. So this is critical for any internet mechanism. So what is an internet? Let's define what is internet. The internet is a global electronic system of networks which connect computers around the world. So basically an internet is nothing but a computer which shares the information with other computers. So for example, if 10 computers are linked, and you can share among the information, and you can share these 10 computers information with other 10 computers, it's called internet. So this is a very simplistic way of putting what is internet. So now let us move on to different resources. Before we move on to this, let us quickly see what are the ways to connect to the internet. One is a dial-up network. So way back in 7-10 years back, you might have seen a telephone line which could be connected to a modem, which converts the digital signals into analog, right, and then analog signals into digital signals. And these are very old technique, and when this dial-up connection was used, you cannot receive the phone calls. And then there was a further development with that connection mode, which is DSL, digital subscriber line. Basically it uses telephone lines to provide internet services, and you can receive telephone calls while you are using the internet connection. And now it has come to a broadband stage where you can get up to 3.1 Mbps of data speed. And the next one is cable. Normally you might have seen in rural areas the cable TV network people used to provide internet connection. It's very expensive in rural areas, but it's the only viable solution in rural area where there is no access. And the final way to connect to the internet is wireless. In wireless technology, it's basically like WiMAX, Wi-Fi. All these are wireless technologies where you can connect to the internet. So now let us move on to the internet resources. Basically there are like plenty of internet resources available, but broadly they are classified into World Wide Web. So whatever information you wanted to avail, it's all available on the World Wide Web. And basically these are websites, and has plenty of pages within a website. So a website contains a number of pages. For example, if it's IGNOU website, there are plenty of subdivisions available within IGNOU. For example, School of Continuing Education, Center for Extension Education, School of Social Sciences. So all these divisions have their own web pages, right? All these are collectively called as IGNOU website. So when you type igno.ac.in, it leads you to the home page of IGNOU, where you can see the different pages that could give you the information. And let's go to the next resources, which is email. So this is like very critical for one of the critical internet resources available, and it has drastically changed the way people communicate. So earlier, if you have to speak to your relative who are living abroad, what you would do, you would simply write a letter through the speed post, or even it has come now, and there are plenty of other ways you could connect. But now with the availability of email, you can just write a letter and it can reach within seconds. And earlier to this, you had to, the letter itself takes a month to reach to the place where you wanted to reach, but now it has reached within a few seconds. And then the next internet resource are the online chatting. And earlier, and you might have seen so many online chatting websites like Gmail, Yahoo, and so many paid online chatting is also available. And the fourth internet resource is voice over internet protocol. So this is the evolution of internet technologies, right? And in this scenario, and we might have seen what you call Skype, which is very famous now. You can see the face-to-face interactions on the internet. You don't have to be present in a space physically, but you can interact with your colleagues or your relatives live on the face. And it has come to a stage where even you can call telephone lines and you can see their face online. And then the next available internet resources are blogs, which is also called as web logs. So in simplified terms, it's called as blogs. And some of the known blogging sites are called blocker.com, wordpress.com. So now let us move on to our next item, which is search engines, right? How will you find an information on the internet? Suppose if you want to understand about what you call the market information in your nearest mandi, what would you do? Where would you go for information? Or if you want to know about like local disease outbreak, how to cure it, and what are the preventive measures available for this, how will you understand it, right? So basically, a search engine helps you to identify these informations. Some of the known search engines are called google.com, bing.com, alltheweb.com. So what does it do? Suppose if you want to understand about if you don't know the website, if you want to understand about what you call HIV and AIDS, so what would you do? You just go to Google and type HIV and AIDS information, and it will give you like plenty of websites which can provide information about the disease, and you get to know from A to Z, like what are the preventive measures, how could you treat, how would you diagnose. So there are this is just as an example, and there are plenty of other ways that a search engines can help you in doing it. So how to do it? So type the search engine which is available, google.com or bing.com, and then type the search word. For example, if it's about malaria, you just type malaria in that search box and then type enter. It will fetch you like millions of such hits. Then let's move on to our next topic, email, right? So the email is a method of exchanging messages on the internet, and it is one of the most popular application on the internet, right? So basically an email provides a way, a channel to exchange messages. So suppose if somebody sits in rural areas of Bihar, and I have to give him an urgent message, what would I do? I simply, if he has an email address, I can easily write an email and send it to him next day. For example, we are conducted for today's classes. We have sent out an email to all of our viewers, all of our learners about this class timings, and what are the phone numbers that they can call us upon. So this instead of this, what we would have done is we could have drafted a letter of all these and we could have dispatched it to you, which would take a long time to reach it to you, right? So with the availability of email, you can communicate instantly and you could share information. So on your page number 16, you can see how to create an email. So step 1, type any one of the following free email service on your web browser, for example gmail.com, yahoo.com, hotmail.com, and then once you go to that home page, you will see this second step. You will see a button called create an account. So click on that button and it will take you to a registration form. That registration form, you have to basically give your basic information, like what is your name, where are you from, what is your age, what is your gender. So giving that information, it would and you should also have to choose the username, and if that username is available, you are ready to create your own email account, and with that email account you can exchange emails with whoever has an email address. And using an email account, there are like plenty of features available in the email account. Some of them are explained in this page. For example, reply all, forward the same message, and then attachments, and then what is the header and footer, a header and a body text of an email. So what we have seen so far is what is an internet, what are the different internet resources available, and how to use a search engine, and how to open an email account. So far we have seen this in unit 2, and now let us move on to unit 3, which is critical for you, which talks about computer maintenance and troubleshooting. So basically, what is the objective of this unit? After learning this unit, you should be able to perform basic computer maintenance and basic computer troubleshooting and repair. So some of the computer maintenance, there are two major ways to do computer maintenance. One is software related and the second one is hardware related. Let us see some of the software related items. So basically, like software related are very simple. You have whatever softwares you have installed, you have to update them on a regular basis, because there are new viruses or malwares are being generated every day. So basically, whatever software you have installed, it also develops new codes and updates for every week to overcome these viruses. And what you have to do is basically turn on the automatic updates, and there are other ways also, like automatic alerts for updates. And third way to do updating or manual updating. Manual updating is like you have to identify which software is malperforming and how to overcome that malperformance. And then the fourth one is offline updating. Suppose some of the computers are not connected to the internet, and you can download it from some other computer which is connected to the internet, and then transfer them through a pen drive or a CD drive and install it to a computer which is not connected to the internet, right? And so this is software related maintenance. And one is updates. You have to do the computer software updates on a regular basis. So basically, you have to turn on your automatic update system, which would automatically, if it's connected to the internet, it would automatically update the softwares. And the next one is next software related maintenance is antivirus prevention and removal. So there are you might have heard of many antivirus software which are available for free. Some of them could be like AVG antivirus software, Avast antivirus softwares. So basically, you need to install these antivirus softwares to prevent your computer from any of the threats you have, and also remove those threats which is already there in your computer. And you have to regularly perform antivirus virus scan on a regular basis to remove those viruses. And you could see in page number 21, you could see some of the websites which are providing free antivirus softwares. For example, avgfree.avg.com, malwarebytes.org. These are some of the malware softwares available for free. And you should also know about software piracy. Basically, software piracy refers to illegal, unauthorized use of softwares which are meant for profit basis. For example, Microsoft softwares, which are for most of the NGOs, they are giving it for free, but for commercial purposes you should purchase original softwares. And if you use unauthorized softwares, it may not regularly update the softwares, and it's illegal as well. So other sources, other way to overcome this issue is you can install freewares. For example, Linux, open source softwares. For example, Linux, Unix, all these are open source softwares which could be easily used without any charge. And the next thing is hardware related maintenance. So some of the hardware related maintenance include dust control. One of the basic reasons why most of the computers fail are in excessive dust which are coming onto the room which is where the computer is available. So basically you need to regularly keep your computers dust free, and it should be able to cover these places from reaching dust and other dust particles. And the second one is heat control. So basically the computer fans and motherboard generates a lot of heat, and there should be ample opportunity for these heats to move out of the space, and then there should be fresh air that should come in. So one way is to fix an air conditioner or an air cooler or a fan, or keep the computer somewhere to a nearby window, so that there is ventilation and that heat is reduced. If the heat gets on accumulated, then the computer parts may not work properly. And the next important maintenance issue is surge protection. So when there is a power failure, what happens is it immediately shuts down your computer, which is not advisable for any computers. It needs to be properly shut down. And if it's improperly shut down, like if there is a power failure, and you might end up in losing the computer hardwares and softwares, and you will end up paying a lot of money for repairing these softwares. So instead of that, what you could do is you could use an UPS, unit power supply, so that there is ample time to properly shut down your system before the power arrives. So far what we have seen is the software related computer maintenance and the hardware related computer maintenance. Now what we are going to see is basic computer troubleshooting and repair. So basically what it needs to improve a slow performing computer. So you might have come across a computer which performs very slow, and you might see like some unidentified files available on your folders. So what you have to do simply is to do the following to improve the slow performance of a computer. One, hard disk fragmentation. So what does it mean? See, basically when you store a file, if the hard disk is full, it stores the file in different places. So these files needs to be, when you access these files, since they are located in different spaces, available spaces, it takes time to open. So how to overcome this problem is in your computer you might see a start option, and then go to all programs and accessories, and then there is a utility called system tools, and in that you will see a disk fragmentation option. So if you click on that disk fragmentation, it will ask you for how do you want to do a disk fragmentation. Click here, yes, and it will completely fragment your hard disk, and then it would align your files according to their what do you call that in numeric systems, right? And second way to improve the slow performance of your computer is to delete excess and unused files. So if you are keeping like suppose if a hard disk has 100 GB of space, and if you are keeping 80 GB of data, and which are from that 80 GB of data, if 50 GB of data are unused and they are not useful for your future use, you can delete it, and this will drastically improve the speed of your computer. And there are some utilities also available. For example, CCleaner, you can download it from download.com and then use it. This is a free software and you can use it to clean up your system. And the third one is uninstall excess software. And I forgot to tell you, like in your system you should install only one antivirus software, and if you install 2 or 3 antivirus softwares, it would drastically reduce your speed, the computer speed, and it might create some error, memory error also. And you should install excess softwares. So for example, I have seen people who are using only Word and PowerPoint might be installing like so many other softwares which are completely unnecessary, which might occupy a lot of space on your hard disk. So it's better to uninstall these useless softwares and keep the system free. And you might also come across hard disk faults, and you should install like as I mentioned, some malware protection softwares, and you might have to replace the computer fan if it needs to be. And if all these fails, what you could do is you could increase the speed of your random access memory, which is called RAM, and you can increase the speed by installing, for example, if you have installed 512 MB DDRAM, you can increase it to 1 GB RAM, which could further increase the speed of your computer. Thank you so much. Yeah.